Hey everyone, welcome to Real Hot Takes. I'm your girl Olivia.
And I'm Simone, or Starfish
Eh,
Siren.
yes, and Livy for short. But welcome to our second episode of Real Hot Takes. Um, so we've been talking the first episode, pretty much recapping Real Housewives Atlanta, really getting into the season. Simone, what do you think about this episode, just overall?
This episode, you know what? It was pretty good. I liked it. We see a lot of different things. We see some people return, like Mr. Baldhead. You know who that is, right?
Of course.
Who?
I mean,
Who?
Portia
Who you
man,
think I'm?
right? Portia
Yes,
guy.
ding, ding, ding. That's right, Mr. Baldhead. He comes back. We see what else was in here? We see Angela and her fans, Fangie.
Mm,
You know
Fangies.
who did
Yep.
who didn't see that name coming? Typical.
Right.
We see what else? We see Kelly and Phaedra shade each other. We see a lot. We see a lot.
Yeah, we do. And I do. We're kind of getting into the kind of like the conflicts with everybody. I think it's moving a little bit slow, but we'll see in the next couple of episodes how it'll go with the ladies and how they go with their interaction. But just to start off with, we'll start with kind of in the beginning of the episode, right? So in the beginning of the episode, we saw Pinky and Kelly get together, and like you said, Kelly really wasn't in last episode, but she was in this episode. And you see Pinky and Kelly getting together, and they're talking about
Hmm.
their money issues. We kind of find out that Kelly as well have this kind of similar money issues, just like Pinky. What do you think about that? What do you think about their businesses and kind of having their familiarity with each other?
You know what? As much as I want to go into something shady about them, you got to make millions in order to owe millions, as
Mm-hmm.
Karen said from Potomac. And I think that, they are on a level that us average people don't know nothing about. I'm
No.
filing bankruptcy to the average person may feel like a failure, but when you're at that level, I love that Kelly said Abraham Lincoln filed for bankruptcy 3 times. So call her Kelly Lincoln. I'm like, that's right, girl. You don't view it as like a tarnish to your reputation or anything like that. It's just part of you roll with the punches. It's just part of the life.
Right. And
So
I do think that Peaky. I think we're learning a lot with these ladies, and as well, I think people. I do wish that Peaky would talk more about her success in her business. I do feel like she kind of came in this season really just talking about the negatives. But like you said in the last episode, she has businesses in Chicago. She got businesses, of course, all throughout Atlanta. Peaky is really well known. And then we also see that she was also on a Maury show as a producer. So this lady's been
hmm
around for a very long time. I do wish they kind of more talk about the great things about her business because I do see a lot of discourse online where they're talking very negative about her business and her failures. But in my head, it's like, no, she had a successful business that made millions of dollars.
I think that Pinky's got a great entrepreneurial spirit and story to tell. Unfortunately, this is not Shark Tank. This is Real Housewives of Atlanta. So
That's
you
true.
know what? She got the. This is the show she's on. She got to play this game. Will be some opportunities for her to shine and show off that business savvy brain of hers. I'm sure of it. But at the end of the day, that is not the priority.
Yeah, that's true. And that's, of course they're going to go with the messy thing first, and that's her being in
Of
bankruptcy.
of course. But one thing about Pinky, she not about to let you act ghetto at her event. Remember what
Right.
she did at the event? I don't know if I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. I'll wait until we're ready to talk about that.
No, I mean, we can, but yeah, we can really quickly though. I do want to touch on Shamia. So after that scene, they kind of went to show Shamia and her beautiful home. I don't think we talked about how beautiful that home is that she had with her daughter, two daughters, and of course her husband. So we do see an interaction with her and her husband in her closet, huge closet, right?
Hmm.
Talking about the trip that's coming up. So they're going to Dallas, where you're at right now, Dallas, which I'm actually really excited because I love Dallas to see them on that trip. and we kind of find out that that Shamia is also going down there to connect with Cynthia. Cynthia and her, she had also going to have a drinking business as
So they're
well.
going
But
down there because Cynthia is opening up a wine, and guess who she's opening the wine up with? The wine company she's creating.
the
Adrienne
lady
Maloof from
from
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Remember Adrienne
which,
Maloof?
yes, money on top of money on top of
Big
money.
money. So
Yeah.
she's inviting the girls to go down to Dallas because she wants them to get a preview of her new tequila. I think, or was it wine? I don't know. Whatever it is. The point.
Yeah.
I think it's tequila.
I think you're
I think
right.
it's tequila. So anyway, yeah. So they're gonna be in Dallas for that.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see that. But
Hmm.
we
But
see that
Shamia,
Shami, yeah, so we see that Shamia's husband is pretty much not going to go.
of
And
course.
to me, of course, it raises the question, and definitely the discourse with this episode was definitely his interaction with Shamia and how is it him not liking Shamia or not liking the cameras? What do you think?
I wish people would stop thinking that they can make a judgment on someone's marriage based off of the few seconds that they see in a clip. Now, of course, I need to take that own message because I be making my assumptions about relationships based off of the few little clips I see off of a TV show too. But it's to me what is so blaringly obvious is that this man is not a reality star because he has a real life. He don't need this. He don't need this, and he's going to protect his um what is the word, his reputation by giving the bare minimum of himself on that show. The only time you see Gerald on that show is when it's him and his wife and his daughters in the comfort of their home or the comfort of that environment. He not about to be on. He not Patricia, Peter Thomas.
He's
Remember
not.
Patricia? He is
Yes,
not. He don't need no peach because unlike Peter, he got a real job. Okay, he
and
don't
not in
need no
jail.
publicity. He don't need no. What you say?
Peter's in jail.
Woo!
You
Where
know,
I been
because
at?
he was. So Peter
Wait,
didn't pay his taxes,
see,
and
and
I
that's
think
why
he's
Gerald don't
out
want to get,
now. But he
and
was
that's
in
why
jail for like two
Gerald don't
years.
want to be in the mix with them. But Gerald on a whole nother level. He don't need to be on a reality show arguing, getting caught up in the BS. That don't mean he don't love his wife. He just don't need that show. He loves his wife enough
But
to do what he needs to be seen, so she seems supported. But he don't need to be on there.
but do you think Shamia needs to be on there? So I think Shamia really likes to be on the show, and you could tell behind the scene, behind the cameras, that she is doing a lot of begging. She's doing a lot of asking favors. Please, baby, please, please, please. Can you just do this scene with me? Can you bring up the surrogate? Can you just walk around the block with me? I can see her doing a lot of wanting, and to me, she has to ask. I think it's going to get to the point where she got to ask herself: does she want to save this marriage, or does she want to be on reality television?
What are you talking about? Do you hear how extreme you sound? She
I
doing a
think
lot of begging. She doing a lot of pleading. And to talk about the surrogate. We don't see begging and pleading. She's
I
just
think he
having a
threw how
normal. She's having
no.
a normal conversation with her husband about their next journey with pregnancy. She's having a normal walk with the baby in their neighborhood with her husband. She's
He
not
seems like he
begging
don't
and
want to be there.
pleading.
He seems like he
He don't
don't want to be there.
on the camp. That man is, if any of y'all have dated a high executive person, they not no silly goofy dude. They're very stern, they're very serious. If you don't got to date them, if you worked with people or gotten close to, hell, even if you watched a show like Suits or something like that, you'll know that at that top level people are more serious. He's a serious dude. I follow Shamia on her Instagram. Her and her husband, they have fun when it's time to have fun. Right in that moment, though, what we're seeing on the show is him. That man loves Shamia. Their marriage is fine. I don't know where you get this idea, Olivia, that somehow
Oh,
she got to pick
this is
between her marriage or the show. Like it's one of like
I
what? That's a jump. That's a
oh
jump. You think this?
but it's a theory. It is not. I'm not the only one saying it. It's a
Them
common
some slow
thread.
people. No, tell them common people that they need to open their third eye up a little bit. Matter of fact, I got something for them. Whoever think that Shamia's husband want to leave her simply because now she on a reality show. Throw this on your forehead.
I just say that. I just
Throw
think
this on
that
your
Sham
forehead. Open that third eye up. Y'all need some help. Throw it
oh
up.
my God. Whatever. I don't think that. I just think more that he just I think it's more he's uncomfortable in front of the television. And I do agree with you're saying that he does not want to be like he's busy. He has other things to do and
That's why they only film at home. He not think about who he is. He not about to sit next to K Michelle. He not about to sit next to Black,
I mean,
the
of
man in
course,
the
no.
phone. Think about it. Look at Gerald. There are two types of Atlanta: Bougetto and bourgeoisie. He is bourgeoisie.
Who's I see?
His wife Shamia may be on the Shamia a little different.
But
Shamia,
see,
she
that's just
teeters. She's Bougetto
yeah, she
over
does.
here, but she's bourgeoisie also because the money shows she's bourgeoisie.
But I think that's where they
So
disconnect, though. I do think they're disconnecting on that. I do think that he wants a more low key life, where she wants it to be more on camera. Uh,
there may be some truth. Now I'll give you that. He definitely doesn't seem like the type that would want to have a his family on a reality show. But at the same time, I think that Shania is a smart girl. I think that they have good conversations about what is appropriate, what they're going to show, what they're not going to show. And honestly, I think that, even just them sharing their story about their surrogacy is just enough to be like, this is a real moment for us that we're comfortable sharing despite it being a painful one.
it's a real moment, and we kind of find out that they're getting a new surrogate because the last one did not have the baby did not take. And what makes this even more realer is this is going to be her last egg that's a male. So of course he wants a boy. So if this one doesn't take, then I think they're off out of boys. So I know
Uh,
this is going to be a big one.
Yeah, I think it also if she were to give Gerald a son in any way, whether it be surrogacy or whatever other options they have, I think he'd be having Gerald probably happy as hell. He probably may come to a dinner and sit next to Black and dap him up and say, "What up, man?" We may see Gerald with a chain on, you know.
Without a shirt
Like I
on.
got my boy, right? I have no shirt on, chain on. Talking, what up, boy? I got my boy. I got my baby boy. Woo, woo, woo. Gerald may switch it up on us. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? So yeah, I also thought it was interesting. The girls come together for a workout class. You know what pisses me off though with these workout classes? This is with all Real Housewives shows, but they work out with a full face of makeup. That always makes me so icky. I don't know if that's a common thing, but like for me, that just and they're sweaty with makeup. Ugh. But anyways, you see Phaedra, Portia, and who was the third person that was working out with them?
Angie.
Angie. They were all working out. And at the end, I know Phaedra was all of them were kind of talking about what they're going to bring for a Pinky event. So we also find out
Hmm.
that Pinky's going to do a big event, and it's a good charity event. And she assigned all the girls to bring their own, or not their own. She assigned all the girls to bring something to the event,
Hmm.
and she including for Phaedra $4,000 worth of baby formula, vegan formula. So I kind of
Yeah.
felt, what do you think about that? How do you feel? And then them complaining about the money that they're spending. You saw Portia also talked about the backpacks. What do you think about that?
I think see I think that was a slippery slope there with the girls because she's actually doing something that's like grassroots giving back to the community, unlike we've seen other charity events from these girls where it's not so close to home, where you're touching and hands on with the people you're helping. These are people in the community coming to the restaurant, picking up their backpacks, picking up their food, picking up their supplies. The people that actually need it, they're there in front of your face instead of you just having to come to somebody's house and you fill up a truck of supplies and then the truck goes over there. So I thought I like the more hands-on approach, and I think that the girls really messed up with, like you said, with that complaining because it makes them seem ungrateful. But to be fair, I don't think they were complaining about giving. I think they were complaining about having to do the distribution part. They're so used
Yeah.
to being, let me just write a check, and then someone who is or organized when it comes to community. Um, Hello, can you hear me? I can't hear
Yeah,
you.
it's a siren. It's a
Oh,
siren.
okay. Um, of people who are more organized, I give you that, write that check, they can go do the distribution. But no, Pinky saying, I want you to get the backpacks. I want you to get I want you to figure out how to do a large mass order. And the girls are busy. They got their own stuff going on. Sometimes, especially if you want $4,000 worth, just be like, can I just write you a check and you do it? So I get
Do
where
it.
they're coming from, but you got to be careful a little bit, because again, this is an event hands on with the community. It's not a charity. And that's the
Mm,
reason why we like Pinky, because Pinky real. Don't That's an event
yep.
that we know about. If you've worked in this, and I have gone to those events, worked at those events, back to school, picnic, hangout, in the hood. Let's come here to church
Yeah.
doing this. They're giving away backpacks. The YMCA is doing this. They're giving away, lunch boxes for the new school year. That's a real charity event that we see at almost every level, not just the higher up bougie and bourgeoisie level. And that's what Pinky brings. She brings that more, home base, touching home type of
Yeah.
experience.
And I agree. And you could tell that's what the girls were used to. And that's where the complaining part came in. And
Exactly.
you saw where their work, well, before they come together, eventually you saw that who did not show up? Drew did not show up. Kelly came and left early. So you could tell they were probably looking for escape route, to be honest, with
I
the
don't
other
think Drew got the
girls.
money like that. That
Let's be
little
real.
sci-fi movie ain't cutting the
The
check
the
probably.
Tubi movies.
The Tubi movies. Then I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. When Ralph gonna
Tubi's.
come up and pop up? Because we know he liked the camera. I'm shocked we ain't seen him yet. But stay tuned. I think there's something. He coming. He coming.
Well, and then right now in real time, she's having the legal problems with Ralph, saying that he makes like $20,000 a month, and she makes like nothing, like 12 a month. So he
Wow.
supposedly supposed to be making more money, but yeah. But
And
yeah,
see, and that's why she can't afford to give $4,000 away to a charity, because Drew, unfortunately, she's just not a girl who's got a coin
what
stacked like that.
did you watch last season? And they don't talk about it, but you remember last season when was it Sheree found out that she had like 5 different names and like different credit cards and things of that nature. She does funny stuff with some money, but
I mean,
I,
I didn't know about that, but I don't know. But I mean, look at who she
yeah,
married. I mean, Ralph is a whole, scammer in a sense. Scam,
he has to be
so.
in
Mhm.
some way. But yeah, so we also see Angela and her fangies, and you kind of touch on it. She had a boardroom meeting, just like Shania from episode 3, but hers was a little more, I think, a little more smart when it comes to who she had there, marketer, distribution, and they were selling her fans. They're talking about selling her fans. Even though she lost her money through those real estate losses, she's still pulling out those businesses. So what do you think about her business? And also you see her husband come in towards the end and giving half the money of her business, which was pretty easy. I think they kind of highlight Charles to be like a cheap guy that doesn't really care about Angela. Cause does she stated that she paid for the houses that she lost? That wasn't his money, it was her money. So, or do you remember that?
I think a lot of her money was lost in those houses. Now, how I think his money too. I don't know what percentage, but what I do
Right.
know, you have a bias against, or you have a bias for Angie, is what I'm noticing about you, because you
Oh,
said
really?
something in praise of Charles being a good husband to her. Like, I see why his abusive behavior. It's just you don't get the. I'm like, what are you talking about? This,
I
and
never
even
said I
just
see why
now.
his reason. I never said that.
Well,
I don't think
you
I
said
don't think his
something
behavior.
similar.
I I don't think his behavior is abusive. That's why I don't.
Oh my God. Anyways, the point I'm trying to really get at is that because you said that her meeting was more smart than Shamia's. First off, it don't matter how smart or put together your people are. If you're not gonna take that advice, it don't matter. And as we know, she don't take advice. Now she claims she learned her lesson and she's gonna take on wise counsel. But did you see the eye rolls in that meeting? How many people was like, ugh, like her
Yeah.
team is fed up with Angie. Then and her bad decisions, including her own daughter. Okay, and then she
Yeah.
she dropped the ball on about another house. They always like, huh? They didn't know about that because it seems like these people overlap. It's not just the Fangie Club. These people work with her in her real estate business too. So
Right.
these she works with these people more intimately than just this pop up little project, and it's cute. It's a name brand. It's a product that clearly is associated with her because she always got that fan. She stay having hot flashes. If anything, she
She's
should have tried to make some Midol or whatever it is. Uh, is that for
she
period cramps? I don't know. But
she's
I
hot
get what
hot
she's trying to
flashes.
do. She's trying to do something. And to answer your question about Charles, uh, for the longest, I have wondered what the hell is keeping those two together. I mean, Charles is constantly acting like he don't like her. He constantly embarrassing her, acting like she's the last choice, and he just had no whatever. And I still believe that that's the truth. That just he just settled for her because that's his last choice. But we find out how it's able to work, and it's because Angie got the key to the Bank of Charles in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
She know
Mm-hmm.
how to jump
Mm-hmm.
on that trampoline with him.
And we find
Okay,
out that she knows it. She knows how to get the
she knows
Bank of Charles.
exactly. I was like, that's right, sex. Okay, got it. It makes so much sense, and it's like the most obvious duh answer. I'm like, why is this man putting up with Angie when he act like he really don't like spending time and being around her at all? Oh, that's right. She gives him consistent sex.
That's it.
He can he,
And
he can he can mess around with some other little young girls here and there, but they don't call him back.
no, and with the, I mean,
Ask Uncle
it,
Sherman. Ask Uncle Sherman over there. What's his name again? Sherman. What's
who's
that
Sherman?
bad foot? Bad. Oh my God, Cat Williams interview. Who was that? What's his
Oh,
name? That's his name, right?
Shannon Sharp. Shannon
Shannon.
Sharp.
That's his Sherman. Ask Uncle Shannon Sharp about how hard it is to get one of these young girls to be a consistent one. Tuh.
Uh, yeah,
They ain't
and not
playing that
only,
game.
and he's older, and I do see that he's an older man, and I do think, I mean, Phaedra kind of alluded to it last season where he was in the streets in Atlanta. A lot of people knew Charles, and then all of a sudden he popped up married, right?
Yeah, didn't even know he had
So
a wife.
didn't know he had a wife, and of course, that Whitney Williams interview, or not interview, but I guess that interaction where Angela said that her ex had a baby on her, and everyone thought it was Charles, but it was somebody else.
Mm.
But people
Yeah.
knew that.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
They still
yeah.
took
So
that
like,
rumor and ran with it even after it was clarified. Because the truth is, because Charles didn't they also say that like after the first 2 years of marriage, Charles, oh, when he had that incident at the Knicks, that crushed his spirit so badly that he was like, "Baby, I got to leave our marriage for 6 months and go cheat and not even cheat. I'm just telling you straight up, I need a break for my 6 months. I need to go lick my wounds by running around with other women for six." And it's like, wait, what? What?
yeah,
So
she allows
because
a lot.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He is with her because ain't no other woman who is in her department of looks, because Angie does look good, but no other
Yeah,
woman who looks as good as she does is gonna play that foolish, stupid ass game. That's Angie. I'm sorry, Angie, but we can smell desperation off of you. It's obvious because you keep
yeah.
excusing all the things that Charles. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's sad. It's really sad. It's so sad that Jim, my boyfriend who watches with me, he even said, I love Angie. She deserves better. Like, he likes Angie out of pity. Not because she's saying something smart, because we know it's not that, but out of pity. It's sad. It's sad. I want to,
I
and I see why that daughter always, like, look at rolling eyes and moping around like I can just my mama just do my God.
Okay, I mean,
That's
I
a
feel, I feel you. I do think it's a little. I think you're a little too extreme, but I feel you, and I do get that perspective. I'll take it. I'll
okay.
take it. Um, so we also see afterwards that they are again coming together for Pinky event. Like I said, Drew did not show up, and then Kelly also left early, and soon after Portia popped up. But before I get to that scene, we did see Portia and Phaedra together, freaking frack, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. How do you feel about that scene? Do you feel that Phaedra? I don't know. Do you feel like Phaedra is different this season? I feel like Phaedra is not the same. And I used to love, especially old seasons of Atlanta, the old interaction of Portia and Phaedra and how fun they had together and kind of like they're quirky back and forth. And I kind of feel like, hey, throughout these years they did not keep up with together, right? We saw Phaedra's son come in, and we see Portia. Oh, I haven't seen you in so long, so that tells me that they really haven't been keeping up with each other. Um, and I
I
just
mean,
think
how could
Phaedra.
they? Don't you remember the fallout of why Phaedra left? Because she lied and made Portia tell a lie that she was gonna get molested by Candy, and it was so bad that we got Phaedra off the show for like years. Of course, they took a break from one another. They took a
Okay,
long pause from one another because of that whole ordeal. Now they're back. Phaedra's been slowly coming back to Bravo with Married to Medicine, with Real Housewives of Dubai
traitors.
pop up, trade all these other different shows. But at the end of the day, her and Portia have a natural relationship, a sisterhood, and we see that they back like this, freaking frack. We see them really bouncing that energy off of each other. So it's really wholesome and nice to see that. But you're right, Phaedra has changed. She's supposed to change. It's like what, almost 10 years later. We never, of course. And you know
She's
what's been
definitely
changed the
older.
most? Her
Who?
her look. Phaedra has aged backwards. She Benjamin Button. That's the biggest change you see. She
Do you like
listen,
the
the
blonde
blonde.
wigs?
I was just about to say the blonde. Her and Nene love to put on some blonde. Listen, ladies, listen, order in the court on this one. And y'all gonna be mad at me, some of y'all, because I'm a natural head and I love my natural hair and all of that. Don't get me wrong, but this one sometimes wears blonde hair. Why? Because blonde hair makes you look younger. I don't care if you're white, black, purple, green, yellow, orange. Blonde hair makes you look younger. Go test it out for yourself if you don't believe me. Go to a colorist in the salon, somebody's real good with coloring hair, and have them match your undertones with some blonde. Try it out. I'm telling you, blonde hair makes you look younger. And Nene and Phaedra are a great example of that.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
aging backwards.
I agree. They look good. I'm not denying that. I do think. I don't know. And I say that for both of them. I do feel like they're very Instagram model, bad bitch type of
Yeah,
vibe, and
I
I feel
will
like they're kind
admit,
of too old for that.
but they pull it off so well. They pull off because they got the money to get it right. See,
Right.
when everybody else try to do it, they be OD on the Botox. They be
Yes.
OD on the lip injections. You gotta learn that sweet middle spot of how to do it. And I think Nene and Phaedra do it well. Now, does Nene look like Nene, the old school Nene, and Phaedra look like old school? No, not at all. They definitely got that whole. But I don't know, like you said, bad bitch look. But it's not a bad bitch
No, it's
look.
not bad. Like you
It's
said,
a
they have the
good
money.
bad bitch. They can do it. They can do it. And when you're that much older, when they pushing all the 60s or 50s or so, it's time to
Yeah.
play a little up into it a little bit.
I feel,
Think about it. You're gonna be in a reality with these younger girls. You really want to show up with your 2014 was it silk press hair? Went back, Phaedra Parks,
rap,
attorney at law, silver wrap.
side swoop.
Silk wrap. Like with the little 3/4 part, like what I got going on here. Like, no, you're not gonna show up like that. You're gonna show up with them body way down to the tail with blonde.
Hmm. You're
So
right.
hey,
You're right. And they got it. It Okay. But we do see them together, and then we also see them go to the event together. And to be honest, nothing really exciting happened at Pinky's event. You can tell when they started arguing. So we see that Pinky did confront Phaedra when it came about her eating meat, her being Pinky, eating meat, and them coming together. And then an argument was happening. I forgot what type of argument though.
Well, we
But
wouldn't know because Pinky shut it down. Pinky
yep,
was like, "Y'all
she
ain't
shut
about to
it
be
down.
arguing in my event. We here
Yep,
for the
yep,
people." And it was such
yep.
a first season mistake. It's like, girl,
Yes,
we use these
yes.
moments to for this, and even the others were looking at her like, "Huh? Like what?" Because
Right.
she even said, "We'll
And
deal with this in Dallas." And what did Cynthia say? "Oh, you ain't coming to my event, did you? We dealing with it now." You know?
right, right. And then what makes your, I mean, your event is great as a charity, but what makes your event to a point where no one can not just argue, just talk through their problems or whatever they have going on.
Right.
And so it was okay for her to say, "Hey, Phaedra, I heard that you said I eat meat." And then it was okay for Phaedra to confront Shamia to say, "Well, I didn't say that, Shamia, right? Shamia, I said that she used to own a Jamaican restaurant." And then they start,
Right.
I think that's what it was. They start going back and forth. But she's right. Not only that, Pinky, your husband owns a cheesesteak restaurant, right? So obviously they're going to say these things. There's nothing bad about it. I think she was just making a fact. And honestly, Shamia lied, which is honestly, I don't like when housewives do that, when they kind of lie on words. And then they start arguing on things that they did not say, because now it's just a fake storyline.
I At the same time, you have to understand that the human concept of lies can be stretched out when you are implying something. Did Phaedra directly say that, "Oh, you know that Pinky eat meat"? No, but the tone and the context of her saying, "Well, you know, the girl used to have a Caribbean jerk chicken spot, a chicken joint, or whatever the hell it was," and and just saying that at that moment in the tone, like Phaedra is slick with it. We know this. That was her way of saying it. I get what you're saying. Like it seems like they're taking words and mixing it up, but also Phaedra meant it in that derogatory way. Like that girl ain't no real homegrown vegan, as if that is a thing anymore. Like how many people are raised as vegan from as a baby from their parents? Not many. A lot of us people who are vegans transitioned into being vegan from being a meat eater. So if she did have a restaurant where she served meat at some point before her vegan journey, so be it. If I was Pinky, I'd be like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. I used to tear some motherfucking chicken up. Oh my god. Oh, forgive me. I'm sorry not to curse like that. Some mother loving chicken up. Yeah, bleep that out. Yeah, back in the day, I'd be like, girl, But then I found my Lord and Savior, the vegan God, and I repented, and I don't do that no more. Like, I'll keep it moving. I keep it,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Yeah, and it's whatever. I thought it was just petty drama, and I just hope this season they don't get to the point where they just pooling random stuff and see if it sticks, like different arguments, different haste, like different storylines
I
to see
think
if it
that's what's
sticks.
gonna happen. I think
I
that's
think
what we're
so
gonna
too.
see because the ladies are just too. At least it's still early. We'll see. That's what K
Yeah,
Michelle's here for. She gonna break up that whole nice, nasty, good girl thing going they got going on, and we also need the men to
yeah.
come razzle dazzle it up. Speaking of razzle dazzle, from the men, what did you think about that scene with Dennis showing up?
So I was just gonna segue. So that was a good segue. Yeah. I like Dennis, and I like Dennis with Portia, but we do see Portia continue to navigate that post-divorce era, right? So we see her trying to balance Dennis, and then also having her romantic interest on the other side, right? Not only ballhead man, but
Did I just hear
but
you say you like Dennis?
I did I say that?
Yeah, you
I
did. You didn't see my
I
reaction of whoa.
I like them together. I like them.
Why?
I think they're funny together. I think they're quirky.
Oh,
I don't them together as like a relationship. No, but I like at least last season. I kind of like their interaction. I think they're well together. You can tell they good bouncing back and forth. They know how to argue with not argue, but they know how to talk to each other. I like watching them.
Oh
Don't
God, no! I felt bad
I
for
do.
Portia. I think that man was the biggest mistake of her life. Of all the dudes she was messing with, you let Dennis be the one to be your baby daddy. Like, oh my God, what a terrible, terrible choice. I'm sorry,
Okay,
but like
I could.
Dennis is a gremlin from hell, and he is. He be eating too many hot dogs. I swear to God, he need to make a salad restaurant. He look a lot better. So Portia is so beautiful.
She
And to
is.
see her
She
with Dennis, they even ran back the clip. The Dennis we saw years ago when she first met him is not the Dennis we see to now. But then Papa Smurf, uh,
Oh, he looked rough.
beard, he looked
Yeah,
rough. And he wearing a
yeah, he looked rough.
tracksuit with the belly showing.
Oh,
It's like he in
yeah,
straight unk mode to the T. And I'm like,
100%.
how we get here, Dennis? What's going on? Is the hot dogs not selling? Like, what's going on? And so no, I don't like Dennis with Portia. I think that he is annoying, and I didn't like him last season because he was definitely not Team Portia then. That's what I didn't like. He should have
No,
been
he
Team
wasn't.
Portia. He was trying to be a thorn in her ass, and um, unfortunately, that's what we need, and that was the point of bringing him up. We need these crazy dudes to come back and bring some razzle dazzle, like Ralph in the basement. I wonder, Drew ain't showed up too much in this episode, but that's because she had to go back home and fight with Ralph bang on the basement door and say, hey, I need a storyline. Bring your ass up here.
Pretty much. And it's to a point. I mean, yeah, I can see that with Dennis. I do understand, and I did not like how he was talking to her in that scene, right? So I also didn't see was at this point Portia's not your property. So for him to
Oh
kind of
my
try to
God.
control her
Yeah.
and try to tell her who she should date versus not, I thought that was just way too much. Especially, and I'm glad you brought up last season, especially how he did her last season, with pretty much going behind her back, filming with Drew, allowing, even though that's what Portia did not want him to do, and he did it anyways,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that was going to get her upset. So you're right. You're right. I just like how they bounce back and forth, but in reality, I don't like them together. And I do think he's definitely a hoe in Atlanta. We also hear last season that he dated Kelly, or no, or Britt Eady, I think. So like
Oh
you could
God.
tell he definitely was a hoe around Atlanta for sure.
My God. Why, ladies? Why?
Yeah, I think
Why?
Atlanta is just short on men. That's I don't know. I don't know. I just
Mm.
the picking is crazy down there. But anyways, we do want to wrap it up with one last scene, and that was the scene when Pinky finally tells her husband that she will be filed for bankruptcy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
she told him that, and he immediately offered her $5 million, right? So of course Pinky refused, telling him that of course she doesn't want him to pull him down in his business, and she'll figure it out on her own. Um, but I, I do think something's up with that relationship. I know there's a lot of discourse online, um, talking about that relationship. I looked up Derek's business, that he actually started his business before Pinky did, right? He opened his
Really?
cheese steak restaurant, I think 2014, and I want to say Pinky started like 2019. So I do think they got together and they both, more maybe more Pinky, but they both kind of got bigger and better and franchised their business, and I think they both kind of were like a dream
Well, I
team.
take back what I said last week about how I thought he was the help and I thought she was, sugar mama in his business. I take it back. I'm sorry, Pinky and the Pinky crew, whoever out there. And that's why you can't take what we say seriously over here on the internet. Okay? It ain't that serious, folks. But, shout out to him. He's a good man, Savannah. He's a good man. And I mean, it makes sense that he would want to help his wife out. It makes sense because if he didn't, do you know the internet would have towed his up?
Right?
It would
How
have
you have a
if it,
successful business
and
and
your
your
wife
wife is struggling.
exactly. So of course he's gonna help her out. Now here's where Pinky go wrong because she miss control. She misses entrepreneur. She miss get it done. She don't know how to be a damsel in distress. Pinky,
Yeah.
like a lot of black women who are successful, like that struggle story. They like this. It's something about starting. at the bottom and working your way up. It makes you appreciate the climb, appreciate every good moment. And that's real. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, expand yourself to also enjoy receiving help. Enough of us don't understand how to enjoy receiving help, especially from a man who has proven to be trusted to receive help from, like your husband.
And
So,
and just to add on to that, we did hear that, I don't know, it was this episode or somewhere else, but she said that she watched her mom work 4 jobs. Her
yep,
dad was in jail for 30 years. So I do
yep.
think that's part of, so I do think, why you work
We
guys
how
like that?
many because how many of us have heard this story in our community? Oh, my mama worked, my daddy in jail, or my mom. It's like, and it makes sense. That's why Pinky feels that's why Pinky feels like a failure when it comes to having to ask her husband for money to help her
Yeah,
get out of that job, because she wasn't raised in a house where women ask the men in their life for money. Mama couldn't ask daddy from jail for no money. That's why she had to work 4 lovely jobs.
right,
If you can't tell, I'm
right.
triggered by this subject, y'all. Sorry. I
Well, I think a
too am
lot
from
of us is.
I too am from the inner city, South Side Chicago. Need I say more? So yeah, that she and so many other black women got to get that struggle love story, and not just struggle love and romantic. I mean struggle love in every area of life. It don't have to be a struggle. You are a woman and you are allowed to be a damsel. And Pinky don't want to be a damsel.
Yeah, you're right, and I think we're gonna see. I want to see that storyline to continue. I want to see how that relationship is with her husband. I want to see how she goes through bankruptcy. I'm learning a lot through her. I'm learning a lot through business. I'm learning a lot about guarantor and not signing your business to yourself, so they're not gonna sue you. She's really teaching us a lot. So I do appreciate her being vulnerable and kind of telling us what's going on in her life.
Maybe Pinky's next show is Shark Tank.
There we go. That's the idea. She do like a
Hmm.
business, like a. She should actually invest in other people's businesses too.
Hmm.
But alrighty, so we do see next episode they're gonna go to Dallas,
That's
and
right.
we're gonna see that argument between, I want to say, Angela and Pinky. That's the same argument that we saw during the trailer,
Woo!
the Papa
Yeah, yeah,
Smirk.
yeah, man. We gonna see Pinky show that hood side because we know she got it in her. Because Angie was like, "Oh, look the hood side." It was just a preview, but she looked like her feelings was hurt when she said, "Girl, I should have bought your failed homes." Angie was like,
But right, but I think in the trailer she said she got her comeback. So they didn't say it to the previews, but in the trailer she got a good couple knocks in her. Cause Angela, she can read. She can do that old school read.
oh yeah, she can do that old school read. You right about that.
Yeah.
She does know how to do that. But I'm excited. You right. They're coming to my city, Dallas. What up, the
Woo-hoo.
Big D? Actually,
Yep.
that is
Yep.
Detroit. They ain't no Big D. I'm sorry. Don't hate me,
Oh,
Texas people. I'm new to Texas, so I f with the Detroit. That's my cousin.
right.
So
But already, so all right, you guys. But please, please, please subscribe. Leave us a review. Drop your hot takes in the comments. We would love to hear it. And we will be back next week. Bye, y'all.
bye.